Developing tonight, South Carolina's top prosecutor says everyone would be safer from gun violence if the state was required to send mental health information to the federal government. Attorney General Alan Wilson talked about a new plan today that would alert store owners when someone who has a mental illness tries to buy a gun.
It is here at the State House in Columbia where the gun bill will eventually take center stage in the House and Senate. Today, more ammunition was provided to try to get it passed. South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson was surrounded by state lawmakers and law enforcement officials, all who were in support of the proposed gun legislation.
Attorney General Alan Wilson unveiled the measure today. It would require the state to share information on people found by a court to have mental health problems. Wilson says this is not an anti-gun law, but a way to keep guns out of the wrong hands.
South Carolina lawmakers were quick to point out today they're not proposing another gun control bill.
This is not a gun restriction law. This is nothing more than a reporting law.
If this law itself were a new restriction, I would not be standing here. I would not be standing here today supporting it. This law is about reporting and coordinating with already existing organizations and a database that already exists at the federal level.
It has been against the law since the 1960s for someone who has been adjudicated as mentally ill to buy a firearm. This does not mean if you're a veteran who has PTSD, or this does not mean if you have an anxiety disorder that you get reported to this database.
Once you read the bill, you realize this has nothing to do with restricting purchase of firearms. It is already against the law to buy a firearm or to sell a firearm to someone who's adjudicated mentally ill. All this does is allow the state to report it to a national database so that future gun dealers will see a red flag on someone who's been adjudicated as mentally ill.
Now, that database that the Attorney General referred to is the same national crime database used by registered gun dealers to perform background checks on prospective buyers.